the Venice Biennale in Egyptian Pavilion. This is the first year. We have a competition, a national competition, to choose a project who represent Egypt, and this is done a little bit late, but we managed how to get there and to deliver in this short time, and I think we got into the competition as a team, which has a lot of names like Ahmed Gamal, Ahmed Hussein, Ahmed Al-Bisi. This is combination with architects and artists, and we try to do some installation who represent the current situation in Egypt. At the same time, we have to talk about the main theme for the Biennale, which combined absorbing modernity and fundamentals, and we try to get committed to 100 years, and was not possible for an Egyptian situation, because this is you're like looking through a small window. You have to if you want to get a bigger picture, or a better picture, you have to know the transitions that happened before this, and we try to extend the timeline, and we did a research which include a lot of architecture products along architecture history for Egypt, and it just show how the social and economic affects the product and the quality of the product that had been produced in Egypt in the last few centuries. And this is actually a basic idea what we did. And we have to ask, or to make a statement that architecture in Egypt now, it has to be reviewed, or it has to be, we have to rethink about the function, or the I don't know, we have to rethink about how role the architect play in architecture in Egypt now. Now people, it's just expressing their needs. They don't need any architect in Egypt, and this is I think this is a challenge, a question we have to ask, and this is showed up in the installation, the difference between the exterior part and the interior part. The interior part is just explain and show you the timeline and the documentation for the project. The exterior part, it just give you like a sense of contradiction between what we have and what we had, and I think this is a very basic idea on what we had. For the data, we have like two sides, or two layers. The first layer was an interactive layer, which projects that data, a lot of photos and plans and architecture data. The other layer was a map, which is show you the exact location for the building to get sense of where it does locate. And the location is very important to know how people move around the urban fabric we had, and how we managed to get this architecture product in this time at this place. And we have another layer for the exterior part, which is just show you a panoramic views for Egypt, or architecture in Egypt now, on the formation we had, which is have the same ratio and have the same shape. I think it has a lot of common shape between architecture in Egypt now. It's completely random, cubic, out of order, and I think this is what we want to express. And even the circulation we had in the pavilion, we didn't define. You can get from the right or from the left. And this is actually, we meant to do this, and this is actually how you circulate around Cairo. You don't have any rules about anything. This is also, you have to do it if you want to decide to go left and get the timeline from recent to old, this is your decision, and from the other side, this is also your decision. And this is about the installation. And this is actually, I think this is a debate also you can open, and this will never be closed about what is random or chaos, or what is natural. Somebody see this, it's very odd and ugly, and this is not organized. Some people say like this is how people manage to get themselves and serve their needs. And this is, but we have to have some kind of order in some certain places, or modules in how to live in Egypt or Cairo, because Cairo is very different about everything. Considering everything in Cairo is different than other parts of Egypt, because Cairo is very, we have a very big central city, which is, I think it is frustrating for anybody who lives in Cairo. I think Cairo, you have to make a different statement about Cairo in Egypt. Cairo is not Egypt, but as for my opinion, the challenge for like the next like 50 years, you have to find a place which can, as an architect, play a role that's really serve people and serve their needs. Now I think this is enough as a challenge for this period of time. And if we ask this question, it will also have a lot of time to answer how we offer the architecture product that people need, and how to get people to trust you to express their needs. They don't need you anymore. In Egypt now, you just everything happen with naturally, you can call it, or chaotic, you can call it, or but they run it, and they run it. I think they run not a great job, but they run it, and they run it their way. You can't blame them. But I think it for Egypt in general, you have to get out of this very tight space we live in. We have to get out of it. It doesn't make any sense to get like 20 million people live in one city, which we have a lot of space you can move, but how also you can motivate people to move. All the governmental or the previous approaches that the government did, it was I think it was not working, or complete failure, because they don't understand how people think, or you don't understand how people. Some people will live in a place they see a very unsuitable or a chaotic place, but the people love it and very committed to the land. And actually, this is a very gap between how the government think and how the people think. We have to find this missing space. We have to get a common space to common ground to stand on. But this is, I think, this is the how we deal with this, how we talk, how we debate. We have to talk a lot, because if we keep it like everybody happy with the situation he had, I think this is not working. And this is, I think, this is enough challenges for Egypt for enough years. This situation, I think, not in Egypt only. The Greek community, as you see, in a lot of places and a lot of countries. But you have to deal with a lot of needs that has to be covered, and you have to fulfill their needs first, like economic need, social, like a lot of things you have to consider before you are talking about how we judge the extension we had or the architecture we had now. But I think that a Gary community you are talking about, this is very problem, but you cannot provide, you cannot prevent people, rich people, to have like this kind of environment. You have to find a common ground for everybody to settle, and to everybody to have the right architecture product without separating, and to do this kind of, this is, I think that it has to be some kind of contrast between every product you have. But even the Gary community, for example, if you are aware what's happening in revolution in Egypt, it was what we expected. Like in 1 second you can expect what is happening, because the Gary community, as the police gone away from the streets, and the Gary community was threatened by a lot of surrounding areas, because they have a sense of, we don't know what is behind the wall, and it's actually it was a threat, but not as crucial as they think. So people is just curious about what's behind the wall, and this is not fair. I think it has to be some kind of agreement to live in one city. I studied architecture in Egypt. I graduated from 2 years, and we, according to what's happening the last years before I graduate, I was a student. I worked on several projects on a part-time basis, and it was very informative for me, very useful for me. And I get to know some people during the revolution years, which is on the academic scale or on the personal scale, because of architecture and how we involve with each other and how we talk. And we had entered as a team with my friends and architects also, Ahmed Gamal and Ahmed Hussein, Hassan Mamdouh, several competitions, and we won some of them, like in Germany, some of them locally, like in Egypt. And the last approach we had, like we entered the Biennale competition, and we did present a proposal which has been won or accepted, and we now representing Egypt in the Venice Biennale. I've also worked on some projects that considered development in Egypt. After the revolution, I am a member of some NGOs, which the main one called Rimal, which is an NGO work on urban development in Egypt. We worked on different scales. We worked on a small scale, like developing some informal areas. And this is actually where I get my background about informal areas. And it was very useful for me. And after this, we worked on a bigger scale project, which a holistic vision for Egypt, and it was called Egypt 712. And this is actually was a dream. We had to have a vision. Like every time in Egypt, you some leader or president or any political changes in Egypt, it affects the system we have. We want to have with this project Egypt 712 like a program, a vision to everybody who come to execute, not to just bring us to zero and he said like this is my way or the highway. And this is actually the issue. And we worked for this project like 3 years, and it was also very informative and useful for me. And that's it.